Hello, in this music composition tutorial, an orchestral continuity is created from two source elements, melodic motifs and the polychord progression. A string of various transformed melodic forms yields the melodic continuity. The minor and major triad, two-layer polychords with opening contrary motion are used as standalone harmony or as background for the melody phrases. The 4-minute-long composition is in 5 sections that demonstrate melody variation and different instrumental forms. This video tutorial demonstrates the creation of an orchestral composition that is based on two musical elements. One is a melodic continuity derived from a set of melodic form transformations. The other is harmony based on a set of two-layer triadic polychords with opening contrary motion. This yields an almost 4 minutes long orchestral composition in 5 sections. I'll discuss the composition techniques, you'll see the annotated score and hear the audio. You may support my tutorial creation efforts by subscribing to the channel or make a PayPal donation on my website. At the end of this tutorial, we will have completed an orchestral continuity, a 5-section composition. The diagram shows the traces of the starting points, the melodic continuity and the two-layer polychord harmony. Other techniques used are layering of harmony and melody, the addition of counterpoint, rhythmic diminution, adding motifs based on the melodic form, and implementation of instrumental forms. Let's now inspect the starting point, the two musical elements. The first musical source element is the melodic continuity, as composed from a set of motifs, the melodic forms. The terminology for melodic forms and continuity stems from the Schillinger system of musical composition. There are numerous tutorials about this system on the channel. Watch this one to learn the creation of melody from a given pitch scale. A melodic form is an ordered subset of pitch units from a diatonic or symmetric scale. Here we use two 3-note motifs. M1 is F, B flat G and M2 equals F, B flat C, melodic forms from the F major diatonic pitch scale. We will apply transformations to these melodic forms. The example shows two cases of melodic inversion, mirroring the motifs about the pitch class axis F. Note that the inverted form of M2 is equivalent to a pitch order permutation of the original motif M2, since both contain the same 3 pitch classes F, B flat and C. The melodic continuity involves a chain, a string of melodic forms. Note the series of 5 melodic forms in this continuity. It contains the 2 original melodic forms plus 2 transformed motifs. The notation I6M1 means that we have inverted melodic form MF1, then transposed the result by 6 semitones. The 5th melodic form M3 is an incomplete inversion of MF1. The score has no rhythmic pattern overlay yet. This melodic continuity is used as the main element in the opening section of the orchestral composition. The 5 phrases obtain a simple rhythmic overlay. The orchestration is for low strings and octaves. The idiom is reminiscent of the opening from the Bartók Concerto for Orchestra. Listen to this melodic continuity in isolation. A variation of the melodic continuity as main element returns in section 3. Here you find a combination, a simultaneity of the inverted and transposed melody in the low strings with another transposition of the original melodic continuity in the upper strings. This yields a counterpoint setting. The combination was obtained by trial and error. The perfect fifth and fourth transpositions yield an interesting combination of consonant and dissonant intervals. The time signature is now 4/4 and I've used rhythmic diminution. In the next variation I used a fresh approach, by looking at the pitch class content in the 5 melodic continuity phrases. Inspect the mapping onto the chromatic scale pitch disc diagram, where pitch class C has number 0, C sharp number 1, and so forth. Notice the multiple occurrences of pitch classes F and B flat. Thus, these may seem to obtain a somewhat tonic degree character, which may be strengthened or denied by the rhythmic duration values overlay. I've done the same mapping on the lower staff. Note that 2 pitch classes from the chromatic scale are omitted, C sharp and D. What I did was create a melody variation that includes and stresses this pair of pitch classes. You may want to check the earlier counterpoint variation and confirm that the combination used there includes the full chromatic scale. Listen to the string melody as main element in this variation, that also uses lots of imitation and diminution in the high strings. We've completed the discussion of the first musical element and now we'll focus on the second source, that is, the polychord harmony used in 4 of the 5 sections in the orchestral continuity. On the channel you may find a number of tutorials on the use of polychords. These 2 videos are a good starting point. I used 2 sets of triadic hexachords, shown here in staff notation. There are 2 layers, each consisting of 3 part structures. On the left you see the polychords created by stacking 2 major triads. The triad combinations were tested at the piano in order to obtain a chord tension level curve over the set of 4 hexachords. On the right a similar approach, now stacking minor triads. Notice that both have opening contrary motion between outer voices. The major triad 2-layer hexachords are used in the closing section of the orchestral continuity. The setting is straightforward. Tremolo strings play sustained chords with a simple harmonic rhythm. The chord tension level was increased further by adding a bass part pedal point to the hexachord harmony. By trial and error, I found two suitable pitch classes, A flat and E natural in both the major triad polychords and the minor triad structure polychords. The pedal point was added to the closing section, assigned to harp and timpani part. You'll hear it in the full ensemble audio rendering at the end. The minor triad polychords were used as main element in the tutti climax section 2. As instrumental form, I chose an inverted bell chord. The two upper parts are played by trumpets. The two in the middle, with one from the upper, one from the lower layer, are for French horns. The lower two parts for trombones and tuba. Octave doubling is applied to increase the part density towards the end. Listen to the brass section in isolation and notice the Schillinger rhythm, which is a circular permutation of the attack duration pattern 2t plus t plus t, with a dotted quarter note as the time unit. The opening section uses polychord harmony as a secondary element. I picked different structures from the major or minor triad set that best fit the main melody in the low strings. It is set for woodwinds section. I maintained the opening contrary motion between outer parts. The same technique is used in section 4. The main element is the lower strings melody. Polychord harmony with opening contrary motion is set as a secondary element above the strings. Muted brass play 4 phrases with mixed type polychords. You'll hear that effect in a minute. Both elements are implemented in the full composition. The melodic continuity and the polychord harmony appear as either primary or secondary musical elements. The setting is for orchestra. Additional techniques in the various sections include melodic forms as motifs, variation, imitation, and rhythmical diminution. Some more remarks about the musical form. We've seen this overview diagram many times before. The piece is 65 measures long with duration of about 4 minutes and slow tempi around 60 beats per minute. The time signature alternates between 12/8 and 4/4. From the 5 sections, 3 have the melodic continuity as the main element. In the other 2 we find the harmony as primary musical element. In the latter half, there is increased usage of additional techniques. Now it's time to listen to the full orchestral continuity. Read along with the annotated reduced score. After hearing the full piece, let's summarize this tutorial. We created an orchestral continuity, a full piece of music from the source material, that is, the two main musical elements. The first is the melodic continuity that was composed from a set of melodic forms. These undergo transformations, inversion and transposition. The other element is the polychord harmony with sets of stacked major and minor triads. In addition, we used techniques such as countermelody and motifs, variation and imitation, and rhythmical diminution. These were implemented in the 5-section composition example as either main or secondary element. The orchestration process was discussed in more detail. If you enjoyed watching this tutorial, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. You may also support my tutorial production activities with a PayPal donation. The link in the description will point you to the button on my website, where you will also find more content. Have a look at the webshop and maybe you'll find a relevant ebook. For now, thanks for watching.